How's it going, everyone? Today we're back with another match analysis, this time on Black Coast. This is a really fun match. I really wanted to share this one with you guys because of all the micromanaging that was going on. We're going to be able to identify a lot of the mistakes and flaws that I'm making, but also highlight some of the things that I'm doing correctly, and I just want to get this one out to you guys so that way it might help you. But I really enjoy this match mainly because it just kept me on my toes the entire time. I was constantly having to go back and forth with supply lines, making sure that I'm checking on my infantry and my tanks, and just making a lot of smart and little decisions really quickly. And it was really satisfying. Even though we did end up losing the match, but I think there's a lot of things that we could draw out from this and help us improve overall, or at least help me improve overall. So here we're just going to go ahead and start off. We're using our balanced marine and airborne deck, the one that I was using in the previous video. I switched it a little bit. I added some different support or different vehicles, and I changed the what else did I change? I think I just added a little bit more airborne infantry. But here we're just going to go ahead and try to get some forest recon. I want to try to get them in the forest there near B. Try to spread out and try to identify any units that are going to be pushing through the fields or from the flanks. Just make sure I'm covered in all the areas. We're also going to get an eagle out. Got a patriot coming in. Also some more supplies. I want to make sure that I'm really heavy on, since this is a pretty open map, especially in the fields and the forest, I want to make sure I'm bringing out some LAVMs. And then I'm going to be a little safe here with my eagle. I don't want to push them out too much because I don't want to get destroyed by those other two enemy jets. And then also if there's any AA. And I think I did get shot from that far by that enemy jet. So we're going to go ahead and just RTB that eagle there. But like I was saying, guys, this match was really fun. It was we did end up losing, but I really had a lot of fun and a lot of good strategy and a lot of good things were going on there. So here we're just gonna RTB our eagle here. Don't want to lose him and get points to the enemy team. But I'm not sure. I think we ended up losing him. I tried to get him out of there, but I'm not sure if I'm able to do it. I should have turned this pack on a lot quicker than what I initially did. We got another F-15C Eagle out there to try to take out those enemy jets. Here we're playing a little bit more on the support side so far, trying to get some units out there to gather some intelligence and see what we need to do. Getting some artillery, because I know they're probably not going to be a little too risky as to push out a bunch of tanks, because they're going to want to do what we're essentially doing by getting some recon, especially some CQC recon. Here I'm trying to play maybe a little too aggressive by getting a little bit closer to the D objective. I'm going to go ahead and drop off some of my force recon there and then get my LAVMs ready just in case I identify any infantry that's going to be in those buildings or forests to my front or my left. So here we're also going to RTB that other F-15. Don't want to lose him. We weren't able to get that other jet, but that's okay. Make sure that we at least protect that other F-15 and get him out of there. I don't know what this guy was saying in the chat there. I don't really. It was, they scored maybe 300 more points than we did when it comes to the kills, so it's nothing crazy. I don't know why he was talking about that, but don't mind him. It's not that big of a deal. So we're gonna be a little aggressive here. Try to push up my CQC. Get him in the forest there so that way we can identify any troops that are going to be pushing up through the street or through the buildings. Here also getting my LAVMs ready because I want to make sure that I'm on guard there. Then we're also, I think we're going to get some more infantry or some more tanks here. Or some more LAVMs. Yeah, but I'm going pretty heavy on the artillery here. I'm nothing crazy when it comes to artillery. Not using a lot of heavy ordnance, just sticking with the light medium artillery. I'm not trying to go for heavy on the artillery, just enough to provide a lot of smoke and then also destroy any infantry in the surrounding area, being more of a deterrent. I'm going to rely more on my vehicles for getting the more aggressive and harder pushes. So here also going to get some more airborne with some supplies, get them more in the forest there, because I do like the fact that they have around 600 meters of range with their raw, I believe it is. So I like keeping them in areas where they could take advantage of that distance, but I did switch them up after doing this match. I'm going to try using the standard airborne units instead of the advanced weapons. So here we're going to also push up our recon on the right there, more into the buildings. Not entirely sure that was a good idea. We are getting shot at by the enemy recon there, pushing through the plains. So we're going to go ahead and get some more recon. I kind of just wanted to go all out on CQC recon here. Use the stealth and anti-infantry capabilities. Then we're going to go and get some snipers too, because I think I need some more in the middle and on the left, just in case. As you can see, I have really nothing on the left flank, and I'm becoming more aware of that, and I'm trying to be a little, I want to make sure that I'm covering my bases here, so bringing infantry and keep them, or bringing recon and trying to have them on the left flank just to keep me informed. So if they're making a push, I'm able to respond and not get surprised or ambushed. So again, here just being a little, not moving up my LabMs too much, trying to just read the room, see what the enemy's trying to do, and then make decisions based off of that. We're also just waiting for infantry. I haven't got really any tanks or vehicles out yet. I'm trying to set up a little bit of a nice defensive here with, or just get a little bit of, make my position more secure in this area. And then we did get the eagle up, or the drone up. That way, if they do have anything pushing on the left sides on the roads, we're going to be able to spot them and then respond to that. So our infantry is getting attacked there our recon is getting attacked in the upper top there. We're going to push our gray eagle back, but I think it's going to get taken out here. Got a little too overzealous with the recon drone. Going to start moving up my force recon down the tree line there. Going to try to get them more in the left corner there near D. That way we could start setting up some ambushes or just gather some intelligence as to the whereabouts of the enemy units and their positions. So here we're going to go ahead and try to drop off some more force recon and then pick up the damaged force recon and then pull back and resupply them, so that way we could not lose one of those units there. So we're going to start pushing up our pack as well, and then I do have a little forepost over there that we're going to need to deal with. So I believe our pack is blocked in line of sight, so we're going to switch its positions. Yeah, get it moving. And then here we're able to pick up those force recon, and then we're gonna. Oh nope! We see that was one of the mistakes there we made. We weren't paying attention fully to that force recon and end up paying the price for it. We have this other force recon moving down the tree line there. I should have just stopped him right there because it's a pretty good spot, but I kind of again was being a little overzealous and pushed him up a little too much, and they're going to be getting taken out. Here I'm going to try to utilize more of the medium or like say light tanks, the M60s. I really enjoy using those. I could get a lot of kills with those vehicles. I don't really see a lot of people using them. I think they're kind of undervalued. So I'd get a lot of kills with them, anywhere from like 5 or 6 units, racking up like 600, 700, even more, maybe up to 1,000 points and kills with those M60s. So yeah, we're gonna end up losing both of those force recon units there, and then also the one in the up top here, as you can see. So we're gonna start pushing up also our airborne, try to pull back our force recon so that we could save them with if we were able to at all. Here we're gonna push our supplies back because I noticed I really don't have anything on the left here, and there's not any friendly units as well. So I don't want to push up the supplies there and risk losing them because of lack of recon in the area. So here we're gonna get some more airbornes. I want to get them there quickly, so I'm going to use the ISVs. And I'm being a little too, again, yeah, here's where we end up losing our Eagle. So we're going to end up losing those CQC Force Recon. So here we're going to push up our airborne infantry. Hopefully take out any in those vehicles. They're not too armored, so we should be able to hit them in about 2 shots. Also going to pull back my MTV, one of the MTVs there. We're not really making too much use of our Lab Ms there. But when the infantry starts pushing up, then we're going to start making, right here, so making some use of this one. So here I just want to use this mainly as a deterrent and to put some pressure on the enemy. There we're able to get a shot off on the enemy vehicle there. And here we're also going to use our Lab M and just, again, putting more pressure on the enemy, making sure that they're not able to push up or advance with their infantry. And then if I identify them, just put some pressure on them, constantly making them move and, be afraid to push. Here we're going to be able to get that BMP, I believe. And then we're going to push our other ones in the forest on the left there. Start covering so that way they can't get into B. So here, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. I think I might have clicked Windows or something. So here we're just going to pull back our airborne infantry, resupply them. That way we could get them back to full health. We're also going to move up one of our Lab Ms because we noticed that they're kind of pushing more on the right middle there, so we want to be able to respond appropriately. Here also we're going to move up our ISV and replace our attrition units with healthier units, and that way we could resupply the other airborne there. A lot of constant just reinforcing, so just again making sure that we're being able to reinforce our lines and not leave any holes or openings for the enemy to advance through, and that way we're just able to maintain a nice defensive line. So here we're able to do that by quickly getting up fresh units, fresh airborne units, and then pulling back the ones that are damaged and just reinforcing them. And then we're also going to move up our airborne on the left there. So we're going to, I sort of anticipated that they were going to do some sort of flank on the left there. So that's why I got the 3 M60s and some airborne on the right, on the left there. And we do have a decent amount of airborne on the right, as you can see. And then we have a friendly on the far right there. And then we're going to try to support him by pushing up the Lab M and doing some damage to those enemy infantry. Here we kind of, I forgot to put the force recon in a vehicle, so he's kind of going to run all the way over there. We did end up losing one of the M60s, but I'm gonna be a little more aggressive here with the M60s and the airborne and push them up. Oh no, actually we retreated one of the M60s to resupply. Here we also are going to move our pack because it did take a shot and it hit the building, so you know it might have been identified. Just in case it didn't, we're just going to assume it did and move it to a safer or at least a newer location, so that way if they get any missiles on top of them, we will be long gone before then. Again, here we're going to be trying to move up with our infantry, being a little risky, making sure that we're using the tree line to our advantage here. So when we need to retreat, we do have tree cover. We're going to be utilizing our Lab M's to provide fire support. Here we're taking a little bit of damage from those enemy infantry, or I think those recon. I think those are anti-infantry, so I'm going to pull back my airborne. I believe we're able to take out whatever was remaining of the enemy ambush or enemy flank on the left side. So we're going to go ahead and get this other pack in a better position and also resupply them. Are able to put some pressure on the enemy infantry there, so be a little bit deterrent, have him reposition and get out of that spot. Hopefully made him flee, so our friendlies on the right are being pushed in. Oh, and then there is the enemies right there. We're able to identify them. We have our airborne. We're going to try to make them flee, and then we're going to push in our M60s. We have another fresh M60 coming up on the rear to be able to provide support, and then we're going to move them back when we deal with the enemy there to resupply them. Here we're able to get the other airborne to provide fire or support for the main airborne in the front. We're going to get some more fire support on the middle there with our Lab M's. And then I noticed here too, when I was playing afterwards, that I keep just reselecting it instead of just clicking on it, press canceling order, and then doing fire mission, which would have been way quicker than just having to completely reselect it each time when I wasn't doing the order that I wanted. So here we're going to go ahead and I think pick up our airborne with the MTV, so that way we can bring it back to resupply it more efficiently. Here I think we're going to end up losing one of our airbornes in the front here, and then they are capping the point on B. I'm not sure how it got past my units. It probably went around and just stood along the edges there, and then was able to get behind my airborne infantry. So we're going to push them back, push back our airborne infantry too, move up our CQC force recon, and then try to get some more, reposition our Lab M so that way they don't artillery or seed our support or those artillery pieces there, and then get some more fire once we reposition. Trying to use the smoke there to protect our airbornes, but I don't think it's going to be really effective here. Try to at least save one of them, resupply, so that way we can get back into the fight. We do have our force recon there, CQC, so we're going to pull them back because we know that they're going to be a little bit outmatched. And then I didn't realize that a tank had line of sight on my units, so we're going to go ahead and anticipate where they might be and drop some rounds on that spot. We pull in our we keep retreating our airborne to resupply them. Then our airborne or our force recon up ahead does engage enemy units, so we're able to get some firing going there, a little firefight there. Then we're going to support it with our Lab M, and then sort of do a little different firing on different positions in the front and on the rear, so that in case they advanced or retreat, we're able to have rounds doing both. So we do identify the enemy infantry that is on Bravo, some enemy recon. Our M60 should be able to handle that. And then if the tank does identify those M60s, we'll take a couple of shots, utilize its numbers versus just the one tank there. And then once we take a couple of shots, we'll just retreat those M60s. And then by the time that we're retreating, see right here, so we got one hit, another hit. So we're going to go ahead and move this one up. And then we should be able to take one more hit with that M60 on the left there. And then that other... we're able to take out the enemy recon as well. So we're going to go ahead and do a switcheroo here. We're going to pull back our M60s so that way we can resupply them, regenerate their health, and then pop some smoke there, and then resupply our units. We also have the other airborne there being resupplied. We're going to pull back our M1 tank. so that way we don't get destroyed, because it's kind of out in the open there, and I don't want to get shot by any tows or cornets or any enemy missiles whatsoever. They also have a heli there, so being a little careful there, providing some cover with the buildings. The M60s are on the move. We're going to be able to replace them with fresher M60s, so that way we could keep having a fresh front line and just attrition the enemy units that much faster. I noticed that they have MI, and I don't really have any friendly AA, so I'm going to push in some Avengers. I probably should have been having some Stingers there, because that would have been a little better for me earlier in the game to have that, even just sort of pocket them and keep them nearby just in case they do that, which was a mistake. So I'm going to try to at least have 1 or 2 Stingers on the mat. I usually do, but I kind of been annoyed with the Stingers and Avengers. We had a match a couple games ago where we had like 2 Kiowa warriors and 2 Lav ADs, and he couldn't even take out an MI like in quickly, especially for the amount of units that we had. Keep up with AA capability. So here we have a pretty decent bunch of units in the middle here on B. We're going to try to start separating them here shortly, and then we're also going to get some more. I noticed that again my left flank is open, so I'm going to get some recon and some CQC units and some supplies on the left there, so that way we could have somewhat of a defensive line there if they push with infantry, so they can't get any tow units in the back of my lines and shoot at any of my vehicles. Here we're going to move up our other MTV, and then shortly soon here I'm going to be getting I think it's an MBRS or MSRV, I don't remember, but the one that could carry about 15,000 supplies. I usually like to take 2 of them in this deck here, and then when I bring them to the field, I usually have about 10 to 11,000 units supplies. And then I like having MTVs to do supply runs, and then drop supply caches in different parts of the map here for my units. So here we're going to be a little more risky with our M60s, bringing them up a little closer on the front line. I'm going to switch to smoke just in case I want to push up my M60s and then hold fire. So yeah, we ran out of supplies on our left side here, so that's why we brought up the other MTV to resupply those units to make sure that we're able to get them back to full health. So drop that, and then we're going to push back our MTV. And we have our 2 M60s. We're going to drop the supplies on the left here. See, let's constant just reinforcing, and then switching, doing like switching out units that are fresh with non-fresh. That way we're able to maintain a healthy level of offensive or defensive, being able to attrition the enemy much more quicker and get my units to the field a lot faster as well. So here we're going to start drop the supply cache just in case there's any enemy units anywhere like 50 or 100 meters or more or closer out. So that way if we do get blown up, at least we have the supplies there dropped off already. So we're able to supply our airborne infantry right here. So we have a good amount of units back to full health. We have our 2 M60s, M1, and then we have our 3 airbornes here. So we're going to start moving out our airbornes, repositioning them in different locations, utilizing their range as well. So we're able to get more units on the left flank here as well. Make sure that we're not getting pushed in, and just being able to gather intelligence further out, utilizing the airborne sniper's range. Here we're going to push in our other M60s. We're going to pull up our airborne. We did lose that M1A1 tank there. It got overwhelmed by enemy missiles and shells, or whatever the tanks. And then we're going to go in and push in some more heavy tanks. I think I'm gonna push in the M1A1 to the left, because I see that they're making a point to try to take Bravo. But we do have, that's why I like having the multiple airborne split up a little bit. And then we also have them in the tree line, so taking advantage of that as well. We're going to move our M60s because we do notice that they're getting artilleried, so we're going to fast move and retreat to the rear. Going to push in our airborne a little bit closer, and then retreat the other one, get him back to full health. We do have 2 M60s and an M1 on the left there. Going to try to make sure that we spread out a little bit here just in case he decides to do artillery or cruise missiles or even nuke. So we have a decent amount of units so far. We're able to put up a good defensive, and we were able to fend off the attack on Bravo. Here, I wasn't being the smartest either. I should have had a little bit more smoke on the left side, and I didn't realize this till later, but I wasn't using the strategy of, smoking the enemy units, so that way they can't send any missiles at you, their cornets or whatnot. And I should have been doing that a lot sooner. So here, I was getting attacked by a lot of just enemy units with the missiles, and that would have been better if I just had even just better positioning and better intelligence too. Like I forgot to use I started doing it right here though, but I start pushing up my force recon on the left here. just so I'm able to see how safe it is, or just get the sort of gather some information on the left flank here. So we're going to push back some of our other M60s to resupply them. I'm going to get some more supplies for our infantry up top. Then going to get a Harrier. I forgot how to use this. Again, I'm still a little rusty. I forgot how to use a Harrier and how exactly to use the Maverick, so I got to watch some of Shark's videos on that to jog my memory. So here they're making a little bit of a push, using a lot of vehicles with support from their Cornets or their missiles. So here, I accidentally put them in there. I'm going to get them out of there so they don't die. We're able to take out, I think I took out that with the PAC-2, the enemy drone. Here I'm like, how do I forgot how to use this, so struggling, and then it ends up getting killed due to my incompetence with the air units as of right now. So here they're trying to get a pretty aggressive push here. They're already making their way past my front line. But we should be able to fend them off pretty fairly. And then we have our other airborne infantry and back to full health. So we're going to push up our healthier ones and retreat our not full health infantry. So that way we maintain somewhat of a decent front line on Bravo, or defensive line on Bravo. And we're also getting engaged on the left flank there with their enemy recon. So here we're able to deter them quite a bit. We're also going to try to save that M60, put them behind a building, utilize it as cover, and then we're going to go ahead and push in another M60 on the left flank there, because we do see that they're going to probably go for the streets there. Push back some MTVs. I noticed I'm running low on supplies, so I believe I should be getting here shortly some supplies. Yeah, from the LVSR. Like I said, I usually take about 10,000. I'm gonna go ahead and munch up on Marines and small. I like to stack those currently. I'm currently running that, testing how it is. Seems to be doing pretty good. I usually would stack airborne advanced or NGWS with the Marines, but I'm not able to do that because I would like to utilize the short range and the 6 AT4s of the Marines with the raw and the increased range of the airborne infantry. But I'm not able to do that anymore because of the increased unit size of the airborne. So here, just trying to get my bearings back, reorient myself to focus more on establishing a better defensive. That's why I was able to get those units, because I want to make sure if they do get another offensive push going here with any enemy vehicles, I'm going to be able to respond to it accordingly. And then my Lav Ms are being a little stagnant. I'm not utilizing them to their full capacity here. And then they didn't really push any helicopters, so my Avengers are just kind of sitting ducks as well. We're going to go ahead and push up our force recon, gather any more intelligence as the enemy whereabouts, see if they're on the left or on the upper flank. Just try to gather where they might push next and what units they have, so I could respond accordingly. Here we're going to go ahead and do what I said earlier. We're going to get about, again, I get about 10 to 11,000, so we're just going to get about 10,000 with our LVSR, get all of our MTVs, and then we're going to go ahead and supply those MTVs and send them out to different locations, so that way we have multiple spots of resupply near and at the front line. Here our M60s are getting close back to full health, so we're going to be able to use them again here shortly. Here I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach attacking D, because I haven't been able to get really a good offensive going, mainly just been counter-offensive, just a counter-offensive, or even just defending most of the time here. But I'm trying to get my bearings, trying to figure out the best way to cross that big open field there, because that's my biggest thing, because I know that they have a lot of units hidden in the forest there, especially with missiles, so using vehicles isn't the best idea, especially if I can't get a good amount of smoke in the area for my units to cover them. So here we're going to spread out some more force recon in the forest, so that way they can't get any flanks going on my left side here. Also push them up there, so our airborne infantry have some anti-infantry support from our force recon. And then we're gonna use our AAVPs here shortly. My idea is to use them on the right side here, the flank, try to get some smoke pushes going here. But I'm not able to do that really effectively at all. What I think I should have been doing instead was utilizing the buildings that are kind of in the middle already there near D, and just pushing in with a bunch of infantry, or even just some vehicles in the forest there, and keeping them at bay on the left flank, and then pushing in on their right flank using the buildings, so that way they can't, even if they shoot with their missiles, as you see that they're doing here, it's gonna use I could use the buildings as cover, which I should have been doing. So I think that's gonna be my next strategy the next time I play on Black Coast. Maintain the left flank that I have here with the defenses and whatnot, and then try to push a little more hard on the right flank here to Delta, utilizing the forest and building cover. Because I was just trying to go straight from B to D in a linear way instead of trying to go around on the flank, and that was my biggest mistake here. I'm able to do pretty good on the defensive here, able to micro well enough to fend them off and just consistently keep a nice front line where I'm able to replace attrition units with healthier units. That way I'm able to maintain a well-balanced front line and or defensive line. Here they have a lot of vehicles here, so we're going to end some artillery. So we're just going to try to hide our AAVPs because we do have infantry there, and they're not going to be really useful until the enemy vehicles get much closer, because we do have Marines and small in there, so we need them to get about 400 meters so that way we could make use of their anti-tank equipment. And then here we're going to be getting shot at by the enemy units, so we're going to pop some smoke, try to get some cover from the houses. Here I see another MI on the left here, so I'm going to push, or a cat ran, so I'm going to push up my Avenger. And then my supplies are coming up. We're able to get those supplies going. So we're going to drop them off in different areas. So that way we could, when we need to move back, so I know we're going to need to retreat, we have really close spots of supplies to freshen up our units. So here I was able to take, a lot of the time earlier, I was able to take out any of his recon. So he isn't going to have the adequate reconnaissance to have enough intelligence as to the whereabouts of my units. So he's just kind of having to bunch up together to keep them safe, which is also pretty risky as well. So here we're going to move up with our airborne and GWS and also some reconnaissance units. So that way if we get pushed by any infantry, we have anti-infantry, but also utilizing the range of the airborne across that open field to engage any enemy vehicles that push through. So here we're going to push back our M60. It did get hit. We're going to move up the healthier one up front, and we're going to push our Avenger to the left there because we noticed that they have some enemy helicopters. And just in case they push a cat run or MI over to the left there, we're going to be able to at least deter it, hopefully kill it. But the Avenger isn't going to be able to kill it. Most of the time it doesn't, unless I have to. Here we're going to try to get some smoke going for our units. We're able to push back we're gonna micro our M60 there to try to save it. We're gonna be able to get our M1 tank back to the supply spots. Exactly what I wanted. We ended up losing both of our AAVPs there to the Pigot or whatever it's called. And I made a mistake. I put my units in the church there. I shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna push up our other trophy with the M60. Push up our Marines and just get them in there closer, so that way we could take out the enemy infantry, and then just make our way to the forest there because that's going to provide us with the best cover. Those buildings are good, but I mean, they get still, once you get past the line of sight that the building is covering, you're kind of exposed, but within the tree line you have that consistent stealth. So here we're just going to keep pushing our units to the left here, and then we're going to go and get an MTV, I believe, shortly here, and try to get some more supplies close to my infantry, so that way we could freshen those units up and get some more M60s to support us on the right here. Get a Lav M moving up. So we're able to take out that enemy vehicle that pushed into our point. We're going to push back our M60, push up our trophy a little more to support our friendly infantry units here. And then we did get our M60 taken out overall, right here now. So we have a pretty decent amount of supplies scattered around our area here. So that's going to be pretty good for us to just more attrition their enemy units, especially if they're not doing logistics properly. We should push up our supply lines a little bit closer, so that way our infantry have better accessibility to those points. We know that there is an enemy tank nearby, and there he is. We're going to go ahead and try to move up our infantry there because we do have a lot of anti-infantry or anti-tank capabilities with those 4 units there. Going to utilize those in tandem with the trophy tank there. Go ahead and push up some more Avengers on the left there because we don't really have anything capable of dealing with the enemy helis. This is exactly why I also wanted the force recon there, as you can see on the right, able to deal damage to the infantry. And I'm going to push some. Oh, we don't actually need those Lav M firing on there, but we're able to take out that enemy recon with our CQC force recon, which is why I like having them in the over there in the forest too, just nearby. That way they're able to, especially to support my main infantry, because it reduces the amount of damage inflicted upon my main infantry from those anti-infantry recon or anti-infantry units overall, and it sort of allows for it mainly just buffers it, and I'm able to take out the enemy infantry, especially if it's just a singular recon unit, because normally the airborne probably get taken out by enemy anti-infantry. So here we're just trying to make some more moves, get more supplies to my units on the left flank there, and they're going to try to, yeah, they do end up taking out my units. I wasn't sure how they shot. They knew where they were. I didn't see any recon, but I think they're just guessing with those shots. Did a pretty good guess. But we're able to get, we're going to move up our, we moved up our MTV a little too close. So we're going to push up our Avenger and our trophy. Push them up to put some more pressure on there while we retreat some of our infantry units, and then resupply them, and then once we're capable, bring them back for another attack. So we're going to try to get our SMAs on the left, on the right, and then our Marines on the left there. But we weren't able to fully maximize their usefulness. If we would have maybe kept them in the forest there and hold fire and also hold fire on our tank, we could have allowed the enemy tank to push in and then just get a lot of side shots with the AT4s and the SMAs. So some food for thought, and we also got some more M60s pushing up. I really love using the M60s. I think I also too I added 2 more, so I have 6 M60s in total now. I'm gonna go ahead and try that deck out. I'm definitely considering doing a deck review or a deck deep dive, something of that sort, on this deck, because I don't see this deck being used quite often, airborne and marines, and I want to sort of dive into it and tell you guys a decent way to use this type of deck, because I really love using the M60s. It is so fun to use those in tandem with the trophy or M1s. I like running the M60s in pairs as well, because it has a decent gun. I think a 120, I believe it is. I'm gonna get some more force recon. Push them up in the forest on the left there, so that way we have some anti-infantry units. Gonna resupply our units in the front line there on Bravo. Pull back our MTV. We have an Avenger holding back there just in case we get pushed by any helicopters. Some more infantry pushing it up, some more tanks, and some more AAVPs. So far, it's a pretty decent stalemate. We're able to deter any of their offensives, but we haven't been able to really get any offensive going ourselves. We're kind of spread all over this map here, trying to figure out. I think my lesson here is pushing it. We're doing this middle here. Definitely go more alongside the road here, and make our way through all those buildings. That would have been way better than trying to go for the flanks or go straight down the middle. But I was just scared because of those the buildings there near Alpha. I didn't really want to get shot at with the toes. So our M60s gonna be taking some fire from those Catrans. So unfortunately, again, I'm still making the mistake of not having enough AA. So I need to make sure I have at least some stingers nearby, even just as a deterrent for those helis to make them not want to push in. So here I don't know why my Lab M was. I don't remember ever telling Lab M to go over there, but it did anyways. But we're also gonna get some more airborne pushing up there, so that way we could take out any enemy vehicles that are trying to make their way through the plains or the fields there, or even down the street. I think we're gonna end up losing this M60. Yep, we do. But we have our trophy and our other M60 to deal with it. We're gonna go ahead and push up some infantry as well. We're gonna put some fire with our Lab M's. We have our force recon. We're gonna go ahead and drop them off up ahead here on the right. Then we do have some enemy vehicles pushing on the left here, far left for a flank. So far, we've been able to be pretty well. I think the enemy and I are both kind of afraid to go straight down the middle, or even on his left flank and my right flank, down that main road there into the building through those small houses. That's why we keep just duking it out on the flanks. I try to get something going in the middle or down the line here, but I think I should have just been focusing on the right flank and making an offensive going, capitalizing on all the battles going on the left here, which I could have been doing, but I just focused way too much on down the middle, and I was really not helping out my team by just having this stalemate here. So I could have been doing making a lot of better decisions here, and I also should have moved. So I think he's just guessing with those, but I should move because I noticed that he's the pattern of him firing in that forest, and I think I ended up losing one of those units because of that. So here I'm going to try to be a little more aggressive, try to get somewhat of an offensive going since he keeps pushing me. So I'm going to get a counter offensive with my airborne NGWS, and also in my first recon provide some infantry support. So here we have a lot of battles going on in the forest. We're holding off their infantry and we're holding off their tank attacks. Going to move our Marines back, but we should have repositioned our supplies because we know that they're sending some form of artillery into the forest near that area, so there's an increased likelihood that those supplies and whatever unit is resupplying is going to get destroyed. We do have our trophy on the right there. I'm kind of keeping him at bay, trying to figure out what the enemy might do. I don't want to push him up too close just in case they're coming for a rush and I get overwhelmed. I'd rather keep him nearby, and if they push, instead of me being right in the hay of it, I can kind of go around on the sides and capitalize on his him being oblivious. And there, see exactly what I said would happen. So we should have moved those supplies somewhere else where, you know, because he fired on that spot probably 3 or 4 times, so should have recognized the pattern and should have, you know, made an effort to move it, recognize that he was going to probably do that again, with the increased likelihood of him doing it. Here over here on the left side is just kind of a failed attempt. I should have been reorienting myself to the right here, able to get those units closer on the middle there. I should have just held fire on them because now they're been made aware, and those helicopters are probably going to come attack them, especially if they know that they don't have any enemy that got destroyed. So again, just seeing my weak spots of lack of AA. But honestly, I really don't think airborne and Marines have good AA, at least when it comes to helicopters. Like, you have the SHORAD for strikers and for armor, but for airborne and Marines, you only have like the LAV 80 and the Avenger, and then you have Stingers. But to be honest, they're really not that. Or at least in my experience, then maybe I'm just using them wrong, but I personally have not found them to be as effective as I would have liked them to be. So you're going to be pushing more units back, and I keep forgetting about my pack, and we lost most of our little offensive there with the infantry. That just really wasn't smart of me. I should have just kept them hidden, and I should have pushed them further into the forest there in the back instead of letting them open fire on that one vehicle. So we pretty much it wasn't worth the trade. We lost 3 units just for 1 or 2. We also should have at least had a couple Stingers at bay as well. But again, that's why we do these match analysis, see what we can improve upon, and try not to make the same mistakes in the future games. But overall, we're doing a really good defensive here, and trying to get somewhat of a counter-offensive going, but we're not able to manage that quite yet. I think my biggest thing here too is just not having adequate AA and attacking through the same routes over and over again. So they already know that I'm attacking from there. I should reposition, flee from the left side, reorient myself to the right flank, and then just set up a decent defensive line, or at least some recon infantry in the fields on the left there while I push back. So here we have they're trying to make their way in on the left side here. We're going to go ahead and push back our trophy. We have another trophy coming to support those Marines, but I believe they're going to be getting taken out anyways. Like I said, guys, overall, this is a pretty fun match. I really like the back and forth that we have going here in the middle. Constant just action the entire time. It's a lot of logistical struggles and making sure that we're able to outmaneuver the enemy and outthink them. And by a lot of it too is by maintaining a healthy level of supplies in our front line and being able to attrition their units faster and be able to consistently get my reinforcements up front, so that way they can't capitalize whatsoever. Again, I'm making the mistake of trying to go on the left flank here. Just not smart at all. I'm having to do way more work when I could have just focused on attacking the right side. But again, I think it was mainly just afraid of attacking the right side, which I should have just attempted to do it. I could have had a nice hold on the left while I flank on the right. Yeah, see, I'm making a lot of mistakes here on the left flank. I'm overcommitting a lot and spreading me out pretty thin, because he has a bunch of units on the left flank there, but he's utilizing those forests. And if I were to be smart, I could just let him come to me, and I'm making myself come to him. So that's one of the things we've talked about in other videos, is making it more harder for them by making them come to you, and not putting yourself in situations where you're at a disadvantage, like we are here in the open fields where they have missiles, able to like tow missiles and cornets and whatnot. So again, I should just have been utilizing the right side, because it doesn't seem that he has much artillery. I should have noticed that, and I should have been able to adapt to his play style, but I was not able to do that. Here I'm just, again, trying to just go after him when I shouldn't go after him. I should, go around where he's at, expose his holes where he's not covering, and then take advantage of that, capitalize, or capture D, and then just defend on the left flank there where he would have to push in. And then whenever I take D, I could just hit him. I could sort of pincer him from both the right side and the left side, or even just make him come all the way to D and then retreat my units and let him capture it, and then go back and take it when I have a stronger force. So making him just reposition entirely. That's what I should have been focusing on here. Instead, I'm just like doing a last-ditch effort to even get a nice offensive going. And then you just set a nuke off there, but I don't think they really killed anybody. But overall, this game was really fun. I made a lot of mistakes when it comes to overcommitting to certain sides, not recognizing patterns of attack, and using that information to know what he's probably going to do ahead of time. And I wasn't supporting my friendlies as well as I could have on the left flank here. So I'm making a lot of mistakes, but that's why we do these match analysis, to see what things that I'm doing right, so you guys can learn, and things that I'm doing wrong, so again you guys can learn, and also I can learn and improve. Yeah, so we get some, but again, like I said, guys, I would highly recommend using the M60s, especially in pairs, or even just as you could have one with an infantry support, because they're able to really they have about 500 of explosive armor and 300 of regular armor, so they're pretty little nifty tanks there. They're not going to be as great as the, oh man, I forgot the other tank, the one it's mainly for shooting down tanks. It has like no armor whatsoever, but it has a decent gun. I forgot what it's called, but I think it's the airborne, or it might be I think it's the airborne tank. It has a good gun on it that the M1 has on it as well. Can do a lot of damage, but it gets shot pretty easily. That's why I kind of prefer the M60, because it has a decent gun, but it also has a bit extra level of protection, and it only comes at a cost of about 120. So I could get 3 of them for about 360 points, which is close to one of the heavier, well-protected tanks. And I should have moved that tank a while ago, and then I don't know why I sent that lav with the supplies. I think it was probably just I was making decisions way too quickly and not being aware of such. Here we're trying to send out some of our vehicles to provide support for units, but as you can see, that isn't going well whatsoever. So here I'm just playing a little way more riskier, since we only have about 3.5 minutes left. Not incredibly risky, but riskier with the amount of time that we have, or a healthy level of risk. I'm not going to just send all my units out into oblivion, but take a little more risk than what I would normally do if we had an extra 10-15 minutes. Yeah, so here, a lot of this is just if I would have had some proper heli units, or units to take down the helis, it would have been way better. But overall, we had the enemy on going against the wall pretty much this entire game. He wasn't able to break through, but I wasn't able to break through as well. And then I was feeding myself to him pretty much on the left side. And there's a lot of things that I could have been recognizing that are so easy to recognize, especially with the patterns, the attack routes, and just the units that I need in order to balance out my overall front line that I could have done. And it would have been probably a lot better if I even just had like 3 stingers, and I would have just rerouted my units to go up the main road, or even the road to the right of the main road from Bravo going into A, to make a push for Delta. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much this match. It was really fun. I enjoyed all the moving around, and I get a lot of fun out of having to think of ways to counter and plan ahead and reposition. So it was a lot of me being on my toes and having to really be on guard for what the enemy might do. So it was a lot of really fun stimulation. Had a lot of fun of it. A lot of mistakes that I need to improve upon, but overall a really enjoyable match. Here I'm just trying to get a last ditch effort for an airdrop. able to get a little bit down, but it's not really going to do anything. They're already way ahead of us on kills, and they have more captures on us, so it's pretty much going to take a miracle for us to even. It would take a miracle for us to win. So here we see that they have, so they even just have one unit there. Like, they don't have, that's the thing I should have done. I should have went down on the right side, should have provided a lot of smoke cover, went through the right side, and it would have just been way better if I would have done that and attacked from that route. I know he could have had RDs or a nuke or whatnot, but I could have moved my pact closer. I could have moved my Avenger, so if he would have pushed in some MIs or anything, because he had so many units in the far left there. So he would have had to completely reorient. Look at all those, So, I mean, he did have a lot of all those tanks. So it would have been a really rough battle, but we definitely could have done it, especially if we would have capitalized or utilized the Lab M's and their smoke effectively. We could have really had a nice urban battle there. So here we're just losing our units and giving them more kills, which is never good. But yeah, they don't look. If I would have just choose an alternative route to the route that I was taking, we probably would have been able to capture D, and I could even supported my friendly on the right there and be able to help take A. But no, so a lot of this is my fault. I should have been able to recognize that and not make that mistake. That's a beginner mistake. I should have repositioned and reoriented my attack. But my teammates did a really good job. They did what they could. I think a lot of it was my failure to recognize the patterns of attack and search for alternative routes to attack from. I should have been able to identify those things and also balance out my front line with units that could actually handle helicopters, which I did not do. But other than that, this was a really fun game. It really challenged me, and I liked that because then that's a way for me to get better. I mean, a healthy level of challenge, getting completely obliterated, you can't really learn much. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys were able to take something from it and enjoy it, and just watch me try my best to micro all my units. But if you guys enjoyed, definitely leave some comments and consider liking. Definitely subscribe for more content. I'm going to try getting out some more, definitely get more of these match analysis, but also some sort of guides and deck reviews. And just let me know what you guys want to see. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.